Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So it's July 1st, so I'm going to be resuming daily videos now really until pretty much, I guess, Christmas time. I might take a day or two off here and there, but this was the plan. I was waiting until this month just because Comic-Con is literally in 3 weeks from now, and yeah, things are about to get really crazy here in terms of the final season promotion and stuff like that. We're already getting a little bit of a teaser here, and I'm going to talk about that here. There's some stuff regarding the Daryl show that I want to talk about, and we could be getting some more details about that in just 3 weeks time. Just a reminder, but I mean, this month is going to be the month where they actually start filming Isle of the Dead. I'm not sure about the Daryl show because the Daryl show is I know it's starting filming this summer, but it might not be this month. It might be like the first week of August or something like that. But regardless, they're about to start filming these shows, and that's really interesting in terms of a release date, right? Like if they're starting to film these shows now, the Daryl show might not be 6 episodes. That one could be like 10 episodes. Like we have no idea. But Isle of the Dead is for sure 6 episodes, and they're starting filming this year, which really does tell me like if they're starting to film this month, it's probably going to be done by November. Which means, are you going to hold off on it until fall of next year of 2023? No, likely not. So I think we're going to get Isle of the Dead around the February to April release, or I guess release window that they usually have, most likely February, I'm guessing. It's probably going to be one of those things where Isle of the Dead takes place of the original Walking Dead time slot. And then once that's over in like April, then we'll have Fear the Walking Dead season 8B kind of thing, right? Like that's kind of my prediction with Isle of the Dead and with the Daryl show is even if the Daryl show is 6 episodes, I think they're going to take the time slots of each half of a season for The Walking Dead. So maybe we'll get the Daryl show like next fall, like fall of 2023. And then, season 2 of Isle of the Dead will air in the winter or whatever of 2024, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking because I know they want to have these shows, like those shows are going to be what people watch. People want to watch the main characters, right? So I think they're going to take the main release window because I just think it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people watch those shows then. Like the weird thing about last year with part A or part 1, I guess, of The Walking Dead final season is that it started to air in August, which was just such an odd time to watch The Walking Dead. And I remember reviewing it then. It felt so odd watching it in the summer. It really felt off, right? Like, at least for the main show and watching it, like The Walking Dead has always been like a fall time thing. Like, there's zombies and stuff like that. Like, you watch it around Halloween, right? That's just sort of always been the thing. You don't watch The Walking Dead in the summer. It's just it's a little different. And so that's why I'm really happy about part 3 here. Part 3 is actually going to be dropping then. And we did get a little bit of a teaser here that I do want to talk about. So make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. Also, make sure to have your notifications on just in case, well, not even just in case, because there's going to be some big news that drops this month. And so if you want to get all the latest as soon as it comes out, definitely be a subscriber, definitely have your notifications on, because again, this month is going to be a pretty crazy month. We're already seeing this thing here. Dwayne Charles Manwiller posted this on Instagram, and again, I'll leave a link down below to his Instagram if you want to check it out, because he posts some really incredible shots. But he posted a shot here where we actually do see a character seemingly actually not even seemingly, the character is literally dying. Like there's a huge zombie overrun here, and yeah, there's a bunch of chaos happening. And the quote is The Walking Dead final season. Oh snap, it's not looking too good for some poor soul out there. Camera operator Pierre O'Halloran frames up a bit of zombie carnage on an upcoming episode. So that's really exciting. Obviously, there's going to be some big moment that does happen here. And this character could be a big death. I have no idea what's happening in this shot here, but it seems like there's a bunch of zombie carnage, like Dwayne Charles Manwiller said here, happening in an upcoming episode. So, first of all, that's the one thing that we do know that it seems like it's going to be happening. We saw in part 2 on the newspaper that there was the second wave incoming, right? And he had a picture of Mercer and whatnot. So it seems like there's going to be this second wave, and this is probably what it's hinting at right here. We're going to see this second wave going through. I'm guessing it's the Commonwealth. Again, we got some behind the scenes shots or it wasn't behind the scenes shots, but I guess it was behind the scenes trailer. And we saw Daryl holding up Rick's gun, and we were like, what the hell? What is he doing? Is he holding it up at somebody else? Most likely not. I'm assuming it's going to be other walkers or something like that. And he's probably saving somebody, because if Daryl wants to, to have any case, with the people of the Commonwealth, in terms of Pamela's bad and we're good, he's not going to go and kill people. Like, he's not going to be running around doing that, right? So it's most likely zombies. We just don't see it in the shot. A lot of people are running around screaming, and they're probably really, I mean, definitely not used to seeing zombies. So that's likely what's happening. I really wonder what the death is going to be. And that actually really got me thinking about just the deaths in general here, right? Because there's going to be, at least I'm assuming, there has to be a big death, right? For part 3. It's not going to be a big death in terms of Carol dies or Daryl dies, right? Obviously. And honestly, it's not necessarily even the time for it right now, because The Walking Dead wants to expand, right? After the season's over here, they're going to be expanding into Isle of the Dead, the Daryl show, the Rick movie, right? They have a lot of plans here. They want to make it bigger right after The Walking Dead is over. And so to not kill off some of the core cast members just makes a lot of sense, because that's not the end of the story, right? Like, as soon as we know for sure that, Andrew Lincoln is done playing Rick, and say, obviously right now we don't know if we're getting 3 movies. They announce it as that. They haven't said that we're not getting 3 movies. And the thing that I'll say about that is they announced the trilogy, and I'm sure they're working on a story plan, a general story plan, but they're obviously going to be focusing on the one movie, right? And if that first movie is very successful and it does really well, they'll make the second one. I see a lot of people panicking about that, but that's the thing. Like, as soon as they do this first one, which for some reason just seems like it's so hard to get out. But then again, that's just sort of our perception of it, because we're not hearing things, right? Like, we had no idea that Isle of the Dead even existed until 3 months ago or whatever, maybe a little bit more than that. Like, we had no idea whatsoever. Like, all we heard was that, Maggie or Negan, they were in talks before to get a spinoff, but it was like that was like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a long time. Well, maybe not that long ago. It was like 3 years ago. It was a long time ago, and it wasn't together, right? It was just sort of a talks of, maybe they'll do something. Maybe it'll be a Negan movie, right? Or a Maggie movie or something like that. Or there was even talks of a Daryl movie. Like, there was just general talks of things, and then we get Isle of the Dead, and it was just a big surprise. So, in terms of not knowing stuff, that's the one thing that I'm not necessarily worried about in terms of the Rick movie. There's certain key dates where we could find out some information, and that's what I'm really waiting for, right? Like Comic-Con this month, that's going to be a big one. Like, they could announce something Rick related, or just plainly about the Rick movie, right? Like, I could totally see them doing that, because it is the final season Comic-Con. They haven't announced that they're going to be there yet, but it seems like they're going to be. Like, obviously, they're not going to miss it. And then once The Walking Dead ends later this year, right, at the end of November, then afterwards, either on Comic-Con or it's an interview or something with Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, Entertainment Weekly, or something Insider, then we could get some really big news there, right? And that's more of the big one I'm waiting for, but I think Comic-Con still is a real possibility. And so for me in general, obviously the future is really big. And so that's why, to me, it makes sense. Don't kill off a lot of those main characters, because you're going to be using them. And there's still a lot of other characters, though, that are still, they're not as big as the core cast, but they're still pretty big characters. And that is like Aaron, Rosita, Ezekiel, Eugene, and Gabriel, right? I always list those 5 characters there, because I just feel like out of everyone else, I mean, there might be somebody I'm not thinking of right now, but out of everyone else, I think these 5 are the most important characters, right? And again, I could be missing somebody, but these are the characters that have been around for like really forever now, right? Since season 4 and 5. And I just think, a death from just any one of them, 2 of them even dying, I think would be really crazy, right? Like, could Aaron die? Man, I mean, obviously we've talked about that before. Aaron could totally die. It's a little scary to think about, but yeah, he could totally die. Could Rosita die? Yeah, definitely. It'd be way too sad to think about, but obviously it's very possible. Ezekiel's an interesting one, because he's the one that we've been talking about for a very long time, right? In terms of how the comic ends, because in the comic, I mean, spoiler alert, but Rick dies, right? And it's such a big moment when he dies. And the reason why a lot of us are connecting Ezekiel to Rick is mostly because, we need a character that's going to be the leader. Because the reason why Rick died really is because he sort of took over as the leader of the Commonwealth at the end. He made this really great speech, And everyone was like, okay, we want you as the leader. And I don't necessarily think he was like the leader for sure, but I know people really liked him. And, you know, I'm trying to think of a character on The Walking Dead that could get that. And the only person that really comes to mind is Ezekiel, because he's a great leader. He gives really amazing speeches, right? His speeches are just great. And I could just totally see him taking that death. But obviously, they're not going to be ending The Walking Dead in the same way. I think there's going to be some similarities. I think there'll be some, you know, like Easter eggs there from the comic and the final issues, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the same. And to be honest, that very final issue of the comic, I feel like is going to be an ending scene to like the third Rick movie or something like that. Like, that's just kind of how I see it going. And then next on the list is Eugene. Could I see Eugene die? You know what, to be honest, I don't see him dying. He's just that one character I just don't see dying. Gabriel, like him as well, like, you know, earlier, I think in season 10, or even in season 9 and 10, or actually, I think people thought he would die in season 8 as well. People have been saying pretty much every season since season 8 that Gabriel was going to die. Season 10, obviously, it got really, really big, and a lot of that was mostly because of Beta. And that's kind of where I started to believe it a little bit, was in season 10. Like in season 10, I was like, well, I think this character could die, because he died in the comic at that point. But I just feel like it's been a little bit too long now where I'm like, I don't see him dying. I actually see Gabriel surviving the entire series. I think he's going to be there for a while. So, you know, out of those 5, I think Gabriel and Eugene are safe. And I think Aaron, Rosita, and Ezekiel aren't really that safe. Although I would put Rosita as a little bit more safe, but it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, that one shot by Dwayne Charles Manwiller is just absolutely incredible. And I mean, who knows? Maybe one of those characters is actually in the shot. I really doubt it, because that'd be such a crazy thing to post, but you never know, right? Again, I'll leave a link down below to his Instagram. Definitely go check it out. Like, if you love the Walking Dead shots, you love behind the scenes stuff, he's always posting stuff in there from like stuff that we haven't seen yet and whatnot. So yeah, definitely go give him a follow. I'm really excited for part 3 here. I mean, obviously it seems like we're getting one last zombie overrun here of a community, which is really great because it's The Walking Dead, right? So you kind of need that. So anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.